Wedge Island is the largest shack community in Australia. For many years they've fought a David vs Goliath battle to keep their shacks from being removed. As the DEC and the Shire of Dandaragan push to remove their shacks, the spirited opposition continues to gain momentum.
Since about 1980, like the late 1980s, there's been a shack squatter removal policy, and we understand why that was implemented because there was an explosion of shacks going on at that stage, and the government needed to put a halt to that. Originally, some DEC and CALM, as they were formerly known, some of the solutions they had was just eradication of shacks. Get rid of the shacks, build some car parks and let people come and park in car parks and use a drop toilet or something like that and have a look at the beach. What we are saying is eradication of the shacks is not the solution. It will lose its sense of place, and Wedge and Grey do have a sense of place. We are the last and biggest remaining shack communities within Western Australia, and I believe that Wedge and Grey are the biggest shack communities in Australia in one confined area. So that is something to actually celebrate and hold on to. And our mission in life is to convince the government, the DEC and the Shire of Dandaragan that they've actually got something of value there, and if we all work together and make it succeed, it's something that the Shire of Dandaragan could be quite rightly proud of.
What was fine in the past also led to environmental degradation in the past. I'm not saying that the people deliberately did things, but up and down the coast there were a lot of informal sites, there were a lot of informal roads that had been put through, and damage to dune structures, etc. had taken place. Some of those have been repaired over the years, but as the numbers of people potentially who use these sites increases, as our population increases, and as the access is so much better now to the area, you can't let the informal use of those areas continue in the way they were, because that will lead to damage. And so there does need to be a plan and put in place that will lead to the protection of the environment and also lead to a situation where people can enjoy a break in that area.
The Shire of Dandaragan don't see a lot of benefit for the shack communities within their shire, and to be fair to them, they probably worry about a cost impost that the shacks might bring. So they don't want to provide rubbish services and sealed roads and the like, and so they haven't considered that we would be a form of income to them. I think they look at us as a liability. We firmly believe that we can be an asset. We firmly believe we can bring tourists into that locale. There are tens of thousands of people that go to Wedge and Grey every year now. There are visitors and friends of visitors that go through the shacks and use the shacks. So we already have a captive audience of tourism up there.
Oh, well, I think Wedge Island's got its own beauty and its own attractions, and people will come there regardless of whether shacks are there or not. Certainly anywhere along that coast is becoming very popular, especially since the opening of Indian Ocean Drive. There are hundreds of thousands of people who come into the Nambucca National Park every year, and that's not going to get any less in the future as Perth's population increases.
Our shacks are exactly that, they're shacks. They're not beautiful buildings, but they have character, and usually they reflect the person that built the shack and the people that stay in the shack. So what we need to do is find a way to retain that building heritage, but definitely retain the community and the social heritage as well.
There is a history in any area where people have lived, and I understand that they want to respect that history, but in terms of what that will mean for the future of the sites and how that could be incorporated into the future development of the sites, I think that'll be the key issue, and it's difficult to know just what effect that will have on the ultimate outcome.
I think there's been a shift, certainly from some well-informed people that have a bigger vision than just this tunnelled vision view of we must get rid of the shacks. So it's our role to convince those people that are still not quite seeing the value of it, that the shacks in the community should be retained, and we need to find a way to let the public integrate within that community.
With the final decision due in June 2013, it all comes down to the final approval by Environmental Minister Bill Marmion. In the words of one resident, the loss of Wedge Island would be sad for many, including those who don't know about it yet. I'm Tom Zobmeyer, reporting for Undercurrent.